Good morning, everybody. My name's Keegan. Welcome to back to the channel. Today we're going to be trying to do this front clip. I do have to leave in a little bit, but we got a couple hours, so I'm going to do one layer carbon and then another layer carbon before heading out, and I'll give it all weekend to kind of clear out. The weather's not quite 70 degrees, but she'll be fine. She'll be inside. So we did put duct tape on this just to kind of give it a safety net. I really didn't want to ruin. The light might be exaggerating a little bit, but I did do small sections. I initially went through, wiped it all down, and then, you know, that way I had a base coverage, and then went back and did smaller sections so I can actually see when the sheen is kind of left behind. That's what I'm after. Keep in mind, I'm no expert at this, but between watching Street Bandito, AJ Hartman Aero, and Nelson Racing, those guys all do amazing carbon work. I'm just trying to toss away a bunch of money, see what happens. But now we're gonna put some sticky adhesive on it. I think this is like 3M, right? Yeah, 3M Super 77. So we're gonna do that on top of the obviously slippery mold release agent. See how that goes. I think it'll be just fine. But we'll see how the carbon lays up on it and then kind of get it ready and then do our first layer of resin. I'd use the rest of the carbon I had on the one roll and just kind of went behind with my fingers to bring these lines back out for the hood. I did cut some relief cuts so it didn't bunch up so much here. I did the same thing in the arch, and keep in mind these arches likely won't stay factory for either one of the cars because the Z is so wide, the slidey boy Z. So it'll probably get, you know, something fit to the wider wheels. And then this one might end up getting little mud flap-esque things. But either way, I wanted to hold on to it and practice. So this sheet's on. I'm gonna keep doing it for the front. Covered one layer carbon. This 3M stuff is like having 10 hands, and it's awesome. But only issue is I'm sadly running out of carbon very fast. I had a couple rolls, and this piece is just so massive. Also, change of plans. I'm probably gonna lay the other sheet as well as I can because there's no way I can have this resin drying and have it how I want it laid on top with the added pressure of all of it drying. But I'm pretty happy with a lot of these turns, not too much overlay. It's all the way around. So we're gonna keep at it. It's another day. I'm not sure where I left off with the front clip, but it did end up taking all of my attention. I just didn't want to deal with resin drying, cleaning the camera, gloves, carbon, all of it. It was an expensive first attempt, so my bad. The second one I'm probably gonna do for the original Z, so I'll probably do a lot more in-depth tutorial on that one. But in the meantime, we did get some quick release hinges for it, and there are some small things that need to be done, like the battery needs to be lifted up because it is rubbing that wheel. I do need to readdress hitting these corners because it's still just barely rubbing. And I did get some harnesses, so we're gonna throw those in there. All easy things, and I'll probably throw that on so you guys can kind of see what the front clip looks like before I put some more resin on the back and it officially starts to go on. Got the right side original, the passenger. Never knew they had a big old R right there. But this is the original harness that was mounted right there on the light. And you know, some of these housings are just fried. Like that is now one with the bulb. But it's off, and the new bulb surprisingly bolt right in. I'm gonna replace the lights and we'll check to see if we have working lights. The one side mounted up, the other side isn't mounted because I need to figure out this middle situation. The Subaru was connected through the tailgate for its light switch, through this switch, so I'm gonna have to cut it, splice it into the Z1 I had laying around, and I'm gonna need 2 new bulbs for that. But we'll do a quick cut and we can make sure that the at least brake lights and the running lights work. Not sure where we left off on the Subaru, but it's since seen mud. There's a bit of a rubbing issue, and I got some spring spacers. It's kind of a cheap way to get it up a little bit more, reduce some of the sag. I guess that's a common problem with the Foresters, but that'll correct it before having to cut the arch and the fender. But today we're gonna see if we can get these headlights sorted out. I bought some metal housings meant for a Harley Davidson, and they hold the right size bulb. Didn't know there was a bulb conversion kind of housings, so you could just put LEDs in here.
But I'm gonna see if I can casually break this, go grab some bulbs, and kind of get a good circle going from there before cutting a hole in the back of this and then welding it in place. The front clip's kind of on, wipers 100% work now, and she drives. I got a hazard switch. I lost mine, but that should fix the rear blinkers that aren't working, but the brake lights and everything work. So there we go. I ended up breaking the glass out of the other bulbs and using some industrial glue to kind of house it to the outside of the Harley bulbs, so they're still drying. I took this light off of the car itself. It was on there, but you know, it didn't make it. So I took the diameter, and it's similar to a brake liner cap, and I'm gonna mark both of these with that and then cut them out and see if I can fit this pretty close in there. And then I will probably eventually chrome the inside of these to help with the light, but for now it'll get us going. And the DIY H11 bulb adapter, instead of, you know, I cut an X and then bent the tabs out until they fit the right bulb. You know, it's trash, but I bent the top and the bottoms in, and then I bent the left and the right sides over, and I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna make it to where I can just put something like a spring or a pin, because that's how they do it in a lot of the current cars, but I'm not sure, because I can just easily bend these in, and then that'll hold it in, and I can still unplug the whole light, and I'll still have to chrome out the inside, but that'll be better than nothing. And I can just replace this hole with a plug, so that'll be fine, and then just drill a hole for any water that does get in there. But this should be good. Boom! Light 1, light 2. I didn't spray it with the chrome stuff, you know, for the headlight bucket material on the inside after breaking out the glass backs for the other lights. But I figure these are really just for legality. They also should look a little right in this. This is a weird view. If anybody knows about Datsuns, they open like this, so that's very strange. Every time I see it, the light should fit up in here pretty well. I'm really just waiting on clips so I can mount this. I've set up paint on the 8th, so delivery for this will be live. Lights are hooked up. I plugged in the hazard switch. You need that to complete the circuit on the Subarus for turn signals. So everything is working light-wise now that we've got these in. I did end up beating in the corners so I could kind of get it flush with these. When I originally did these bars, I did not foresee any issues with headlights or even work on them. And realistically, a light bar will be on this car, so, you know, what's it matter? The same thing over here, and then also I just threw in some welds on the sides to hold the actual lenses once I got them level. And I'm pretty happy with everything.